The Redeemer has risen.
Hey, what's up guys, Massive here, coming to do, well, it's going to be a live cast, the first of which I've probably ever done on this channel. But yeah, I'm going to get into this series. I really want to cast some games. There's no replays to cast, guys, on the system. And I have found the perfect two players to cast right now, which is Senna and Drive, two of the best active players in the game right now. Because Bike Rush is not active, he is obviously playing Rivals right now, which I am not fond of at all. But yeah, on the right side of Galaxy, we're going to have Senna playing as the Marks of Kane, and in the bottom we can see Drive playing as SOCOM. Now, it is a really unfortunate map for SOCOM because it does come to things like artillery in the late game, and whoever has the best super weapon, GDI, don't have the best super weapon in the game. In fact, far from it. It's so bad that players can move their units out of the Ions cannon before it, detonates, and also they can sell their structures before it detonates as well. So there are many downsides to the GDI super weapon. It's really inferior to the other two faction super weapons, and Scrin for some reason get two super weapons. They get the mothership and the rift generator, both of which are just game ending super weapons, whereas it's not so much the case with the Nod nuke and the GDI iron cannon. They also have the stasis shield as well, which I'd classify as a super weapon. I've seen stasis shield end games way more times than super weapons have. So yeah, over here Senna, I don't need to say anything. He's just going to eco because he's Senna. He doesn't go for a rush, though he is mock, so his rushing options are limited. He will be able to go for bike rushes, and that's about it. Bike rushes, because nothing really else works with mock unless you go for some really gimmicky fast awakened with engineer strat at the start, which fails all the time. To amp your opponent's MCV while the fast leg engineer captures it. It's stupid. Do not do it. Just don't do that. But yeah, I haven't been concentrating on this game. Drive, he isn't doing anything. He's got 3 and 2, whereas Senna, he's on 3 and 2, 4 and 2. So I'm not sure what is going on. He's going for pitballs. Perhaps Drive thought that there was a rush coming, but not to be. Again, guys, these are just casual games. There's no incentive for either side to play their best, so don't judge them on that. It is just some casual games, and I want to cast some games that are reasonably good versus good players. And these are obviously the two players that I want to cast. Drive, he's going for another refinery. His MCV is a pretty far away from the expansion though, so he probably won't get the best placement on that. He will be driving, his harvesters will be driving further to that tib field. It's much like how I place my refineries, as you guys always constantly remind me in my comment section that my refinery placements are just really bad, and I have to agree with you there. There is room for improvement, but yeah, either side there are equal. Senna, he didn't lose anything there. He's going for eco once again. He withered the storm. I think Drive took that blue Tiberium. He is on 5-7. He's ecoing quite explosively here. It's going to be an interesting game once this goes into the late game. It's not really going to become a stalemate until this field is secured in the top. So there is still chances for SOCOM to get the lead with aircraft. And that was a really nice trade there. Drive showcasing his micro skills. I did play Drive yesterday, and he had some pretty sick micro. I was impressed by how many things he could manage at once. He's definitely come a long way since when I first played him in 2014. I did know he was active though on Game Ranger longer, but he definitely improved in this game. And he says that he's not really good at 1v1 anymore, but yet, like, neither really who is as good as they once were like 5 years ago. You hardly get the practice games that you need. And here we go, Drive taking out Senna's economy. That's pretty good, but if he trades all these pitballs though for one harvester, then it's obviously not worth it. I found if you kill your opponent's harvester but you trade your entire army for it, it's just not worth it. You have to kill your opponent's harvesters and also make sure that you escape alive. And if you can, like I mentioned in my video yesterday, no, it wasn't yesterday, but my last video, make sure you target the harvesters that are full of Tiberium, because that'll damage your opponent's eco more, because you're denying Tiberium that he would have harvested. So yeah, it's not as deadly killing empty harvesters compared to full ones. Full ones are just so much more valuable, especially blue tip harvesters. If you kill a full blue tip harvester, the difference between your opponent getting that tib and not getting it is massive. It's just literally game changing. And that's why in the early game it's so easy to fall behind and so easy to have a huge advantage. But yeah, Drive, he's going crazy with the hammerheads. He is SOCOM. He's going to get that ceramic armor. One can assume that one of these airfields is for the ceramic armor. What you can do as SOCOM though is you can go for mass hammerhead and not prioritize the upgrade for the hammerheads, which is the ceramic armor, because your opponent's not going to have really ample anti-air anyways to deal with it. And when your opponent does finally discover that you have hammerheads, then you upgrade the ceramic armor, then it's going to be useful. But yeah, Drive's going into the Tiberium field, which is a bit risky because there is a risk of tip vein. He's going to score some harvester kills though. Senna, he is just ecoing. He's not putting any counterattack on. He's going to clean this buggy up here. Maybe Senna's looking to scout for the one clicks. One clicks would be devastating. Senna's forgot his harvester. He's just going to eco. A lot of players don't do this, but what you can do is you can crawl to your opponent, to your third field on this map by using your tech structures, though the downside to that is it will make your tech structures exposed in the late game to artillery and stuff like that. So I can understand the reasoning for not doing it. But yeah, we have a lot of pressure coming in for the SOCOM player, which is exactly what needs to happen. If SOCOM don't get some major damage dealt now, on this map especially, it is going to be a good night SOCOM. But he's doing a good job. Hammerheads plus Pibbles, a very lethal combination. And Senna, he's on tier 3, going to get the... Well, I'm not sure if he's going to get... Oh, he's got the tip core already. You can see on the tip tech lab that he has that. He's probably going to go for the upgrades for the hammerheads, which is the supercharged particle beams. I have been suggesting in the Discord that I think the particle beams should be $2,500, not $3,000. I do think they're slightly overpriced for what it is. Because look, relatively speaking, Black can get a $1,000 upgrade, which does the same damage for their shredder turrets. They have cabals, which you can draft from literally anything, which benefit from the upgrade. And that's just far more useful than having enlightened and venoms, in my opinion. Venoms, granted, they're very, very good with the upgrade, but I just don't feel it's $2,500 of good, of $3,000 of good. It's just not worth it, in my opinion. But here comes the one clicks. Where's he going to land it? I mean, those are a bit spread out. Drive's doing a good job ensuring that he is spreading his refineries out, and that's pretty damaging here. He might have another refinery queued. As you can see, he's moving his harvesters in preparation for that, or maybe he's just got them on a rally point. They're moving extremely slowly, of course, because they are very damaged. So you can get some repairs for those. Nice work, just in case the stealth tank rocks up and snipes all those down. And the SOCOM harvester is the only one in the game which doesn't have a heavy damaged mode you know, animation of sorts, so you don't really know without turning help buzz on that it's damaged. I mean, you can tell obviously by the movement speed because damaged units do move slower. They do fire at the same rate though, so their combat effectiveness is not changed, it's just the speed, the movement speed is slower. But yeah, that's reason enough to repair them, because especially in the harvester's case, because you won't get as much Tiberium. You will harvest slower, but yeah, he just one-clicked him, man. He just one-clicked you, so make sure you don't go in that Tiberium field or you will get tip veined. Hammerhead's coming in. He's going to just murder down all those bikes. Oh my god, he needs to make sure that he's spread out with his hammerheads and not taking any splash damage. He's doing just that. He's going to take out all those hammerheads, or rather bikes. He does trade though quite a bit. And that tip core is so powerful. Drive, he's running out of options. SOCOM in this point in time. They need to go for the Marv, I reckon, but this is the worst matchup possibly for SOCOM because the Emp just will shut down their only tank, which is the Marv. So it's going to be quite stunning if Drive can pull off a victory here. He did get some Harvester snipes. Senna, he is doing okay economically. He can afford to be worse off because of that Emp, because of that, you know, he has various tools at his disposal to win the late game. One being C-Tiberium, something that GDI do not get. Perhaps to compensate for the lack of Tib Seed that GDI have, what they can do is they can micro their harvesters to stop harvesting. so these fields are allowed to regrow, because otherwise the tib advantage is just going to skyrocket for the mock player. But yeah, MCV moving in for Senna. He's got double MCV, I think, unless that's his only MCV. No, he's actually moved his one and only MCV, so this isn't as good as what I thought it is for Senna. He's moving up in the top. I don't think that he's completely out of position here, Drive. He's got nothing to defend these harvesters. He's going to move in now with the bikes. May want to pull those in towards the Marv, but does he have that tip chemical plant around still? I mean, a lot of players do sell it after using their one clicks, and that's probably a mistake. You should probably keep it around, because your opponent eventually will forget that you have that, and then you could probably score a lot of kills on a Tiberium field by using the tip vein at one point. But yeah, that's an interesting airfield placement. Maybe he has a mine drop in mind, because as I mentioned in that tournament VOD, the placement of the air tower does influence where support powers spawns from. And hammerheads is not really an option anymore for Drive. He's going to move his MCV forward as well for those base defenses to kill those enlightened or awakened. And Senna, he's going to be needing his, well, not really Senna, but Drive's going to be needing his tier 4. He's going to need that shockwave artillery. No mortar upgrades. He needs to retreat. Hammerheads, where are they? He's got that minefield down. I'm not sure if Drive paid attention to that. Drive is on the ball, though. Maybe he has a radar scan to reveal this. But I do think that this is just way too much here for Drive to handle. He's going to go for sonic emitters. He's going hammerheads, but he just doesn't seem to have enough, man. Like, this is... Oh, no. Is he bugging him with his harvesters as well? That's going to be bad. Of course, Mock can just sell basic buildings such as power plants and get that awakened squad to destroy the enemy forces. Here comes the sonic emitter. He's going to throw that down, and Senna is known for making some huge micro mistakes, and this is one of them for sure. Losing all of his bike buggy, and the Marv is going to retreat. He just needs to retreat a bit more. Maybe he could fence this MCV. That's actually a pretty massive deal, man. Senna's still continuing to spam out those juggernauts. Did he sell his Redeemer facility? I guess he did for the Tib Trooper. He placed one on the front line, though. Senna not emping that Marv. The Marv is going to be empty. MCV taking damage from the Marv. That's really bad. He may just lose this straight up to the Marv's damage. Ooh, getting that emp off just in the nick of time. And he's getting harassed in the back here. Senna trying to prevent this from killing him. If he has the shockwave artillery, he can use this on the Marv and score some pretty good trades here. Double sonic emitter drop comes down. This is just what Drive needs. If he gets the kill on this Redeemer, then he has a shot at winning this game, but he accidentally emps one of his sonic emitters. Senna's not doing anything. You can sell the Shredder turret and get the emp off on the Redeemer. He's not doing that, though. The Pitbulls are still alive. The Hammerheads are still alive. And Senna looks like he has completely and utterly thrown this. And oh my god, the sonic emitter spam is real from Drive. And that just happened. And I wasn't going to abandon casting this game, because Senna Drive did beat me with SOCOM yesterday when I played him. And I was Mock as well. I was quite bewildered by that. For some reason, he just completely rolled over me with sonic emitters. I don't know where he got the funds from. As you saw there, Drive didn't really have many units, and it's not necessarily over just yet. Oh my god, those hammerheads, though, they're not... Providing they're not stacked up, they can do some pretty amazing damage versus bikes. And I think that's what Drive's ensuring. He probably has those on whole ground stance, but yeah, he's going to throw down that there. The Emp is coming down for the Juggernauts. Oh, what's he going to do here? He's trying to get that Emp off. I mean, he could sell these structures, man. The Marv is going to town, though, on these buildings. He's going to try and shield this with power plants, which is a good idea. Drive's desperately trying to hold this back. He's taking this blue Tiberium, it looks like, behind it as well. Double Avatar going down. He's just going to clean up the remainder of Senna's forces. Senna has not actually harvested all of his Tiberium yet, so if he goes back to base and rebuilds his army, then, you know, he has a really good shot at winning still. He just needs to not feed Drive these units one by one. Hammerhead's still around. He's still got the MCV, so he can place down base defenses, but he's not doing that. I'm not sure if he's got the funds or whatever. Maybe he forgot to build those harvesters from earlier on, which he lost to Drive's harass. And he's just about going to save this Marv here. The Marv is actually ranked up as well. Going to take that MCV right out. And yeah, he's got this MCB still. Has he got 2 MCBs? Yeah, he has. He probably could sell 1. Though probably unwise to sell the one at his main because this one is low and it could die. So he's going to move forward with this. Probably has a Sonic emitter queued, but yeah, Senna's just going to throw in a towel. And that was a pretty good game. Senna defeated there. I wouldn't have expected that considering how he had all that Tiberium at his disposal. Drive definitely was ahead economically. Usually it's Senna who has way more resources, but just complete eco domination there for Drive. He did a good job there in that matchup, and on that map especially. It is a very, very hard map to stop Mock with SOCOM. But so yeah, glad that I had caught that live. Alright guys, back to do some more games, and I again thought that this would be a good idea casting these games live because there are none to cast on the replay system. You know, it's been a long, long time since we've seen games casted besides in tournaments. So yeah, might catch a gem here, or 1 or 2. That first game was rather decent to watch. I enjoyed that, though I didn't really learn anything that I didn't already know. I mean, SOCOM are very, very, very on the... They have a huge disadvantage in that last matchup that these guys played in. And Senna, he had all that Tiberium. I felt that if he had, you know, focused a little more on recovering his eco after being harassed by those Pitbull raids and rebuilt those harvesters, he could have done more to definitely win that game. But yeah, his Emp micro was not on point at all. And he's going to be over here on the left side playing as SOCOM, so he's going to be the SOCOM player this time. So it looks like the tides have turned. Who is the guest going to be, aka Drive? He's going to be Mock, so by some weird chance, these guys have actually got the same factions, but in reverse. So can SOCOM prevail again? I feel it's unlikely. I feel that Drive is on a roll lately, and he's going to be over here with Awaken. Generally, this is signs of a bike rush coming. If you see Awaken coming to your field, so I wouldn't be surprised to see any bikes coming from Drive. Is he going for it though? He is known for his mind games though. He's only got 1 bike. And there you go, there's that 1 bike. He's... he did just fence that though. Oh yeah, see, he's going for 2 bikes. Okay, so it's not a fake out. 2 bikes I feel is just going to be enough. He's going to escape though, not going to allow himself to be overwhelmed here. He does have the 2 rifles if he sells this watchtower. As long as he doesn't go in this Tiberium field, he can kill that squad, which is already damaged. May have been damaged by friendly bike fire. He needs to micro though this rifle in this early stage of the game. He needs to make sure he gets the most from his units. In the top here we can see Senna going to get a scout off. With Nod and Mock you can't see how many harvesters your opponent has unless you see the ones that are docking, because of course they're stealthed. They do reveal themselves though while they're docking in the refinery. So sometimes it can be hard to determine, for example with Scrin, when you use their Tiberium vibration scan, if your opponent is rushing or not with Mock or Nod. Whereas with Black Hand you can see, okay, he's got 2 harvesters, I'm on 3 harvesters, this guy's obviously going for a rush. And the Tiberium vibration scan also reveals the upgraded Nod power plants as well, so it's like the Nod or Black Hand power plant scanning ability. And yeah, he's going to find the MCV on the Tiberium. That's going to be really annoying for Senna. He may have to deploy that early, or he will take damage. He does have 2 Pitbulls though, so I don't think he really needs to deploy early. He's going to get underway with another expansion. And the Pitbulls here, he's made 2. He's not overspent. That's what I like about seeing these guys play. They don't really overspend quite a lot. Drive, he's committed to more aggression. Has Senna still got scouts in the back of Drive's base? I don't think he can see this coming. I may just go to his view just to see if that's the case. I mean, he's not going to expect more aggression, is he? He just defended the bike rush, and generally what players do after bike rushing is not go for double war factory. But he's a bit suspicious. He's making APCs, which is a really interesting choice. Maybe he expects some sort of infantry transition from Drive, but Mock's infantry is like the worst in the game. And I know a lot of you guys will be saying to me, oh Leaf, that can't be true. They have Enlighten, they have Awaken, they have Tip Troopers. Yes, they do, but they're very, very cost ineffective. And they're very, very overpriced for what they are. Enlightened, they have their fringe use cases. I'd say the only use case for Enlightened in the meta is if you want to Emp a SOCOM or GDI Marv with quad zone trooper inside of it. Either that, or you stealth your EMP buggies and use the EMP cores. Stealthed EMP buggies, I want to see it more. I just think it's the best way to handle that sort of heavy armor. And also, Mock Awakened, they have 5-second duration EMP, and Lion have 7 duration EMP. The buggies have 10 seconds of duration on their EMP. So you're paying $500 and you're getting a much, much longer lasting EMP. So why would you go for Enlightened? And also, you need that $3,000 upgrade, as I said in the first game, for them to be remotely good at killing things. You can augment their effectiveness though with the voice of Kane. But yeah, what's Drive doing? He's losing all of his Raider buggies. That was completely unnecessary. He's got an expansion up. That was really, really bad. Senna now, he's going really ham on the infantry and pred tank spam. And this is what I struggle with a lot as well. You can't really deal with this with Venoms because of the APCs, and also these infantry upgraded are very, very tanky as well. So it's going to be difficult to deal with this. There's no easy counter to this as Mock. I mean, they don't have lasers either on their Scorpion tanks, so they're going to be struggling. They may require to go for Venoms anyways. They can't go for a Scorp tank crush because all the tanks here that Senna has, it's just going to prevent the Scorps from crushing them. So that's the whole point of that composition there. The infantry, you know, to make it harder for the enemy to shoot, to counter this. This also provides anti-air support as well, though Mock Air is of limited use. No Dozer Blades upgrade on the way. In fact, he didn't even bother to research it. There is, oh my god, you should see this here. You can go in for the crush with a harvester. You can see this straight away. You can use the cloaking field here. If I were him, quick thinking, just use the cloaking field here and go in with the tanks. That would probably clean up the army, though granted he does have a lot of predator tanks, so he will struggle. There's more infantry on the way. Senna going for that Marv. He's only got 5 and 2 on this field, though that is normal. He's probably been taking the blue Tiberium this whole while. Shredder turrets coming down, maybe with the upgrade, the charged particle beam upgrade. Senna, he's moving out though with his Marv. He's going to get the Marv on the way. He's not going for multi MCV himself, so the only difference we see between Drive, it's very interesting to see the playstyles of these two guys, because Drive last game went for Pit Hammerhead, whereas Senna this game deciding to go for the Pred infantry spam. So these guys aren't mimicking each other's builds. They have their own playstyle. And as you can see, Drive's just going to chill here. He has no ability to really move out on the map. So what Senna can do is he can secure the blue fields. He can take the Tiberium spikes and secure himself a huge advantage. These spikes are definitely for the taking here. You can probably airlift and engineer and take that. He didn't even go for air at all. I guess that's a mind game of sort. It may prompt Drive to go for the typical upgrade, something that he doesn't even need, but he's going to be forced to anyways because SOCOM's air is just so powerful, especially if it comes in the form of a transition. He really can't afford to push into this Shredder turret wall though. With his infantry, he's just going to torn up here. There's avatars in the field. He's not producing anything. Maybe he's got Redeemer on the way, which he does have. Marv is coming in. He can probably Marvis this field. It's probably the best bet he has because he's not going to be able to secure it for long. Here comes a Armageddon bomber, I think they're called. Don't quote me on that though. Their mines have been used. Scorpion tank is going to get cleaned up, so that's all of Drive's ability to go out on the map unless he has a few stealth tanks around. Stealth tanks is probably his only option at this point. Does have a few bikes, mind you. Imminently going to be upgraded with that upgrade, but yeah, Senna, he's not microing here. He needs to move back his Marv because he's going to get empty if that does get sold. And the thing has been researched. Oh, here comes the shockwave artillery. If he gets this Redeemer here, it's going to be game. But oh my god, he gets it just in the nick of time. That's pretty huge. He can sail this off though. Oh my god. That mock imp though is so effective. He's trying so hard though. He did just use the Rage Gen, I think. So yeah, it's going to be pretty hard for him to deal with this. Here comes the orbital strike as well. He needs to watch his Marv though. That's a very valuable asset of him. He's losing it though, which is really unfortunate. Oh, he's even using the hand of Nod Ball as well. So that's pretty good. More Awaken coming down here on this Marv. Senna not doing good with the micro. He's thrown that Marv away. The Redeemer does live. There's Marv tanks on the field. He's going to get some repairs here. The MCV likely to go down. Senna needs to get some expansion refineries down. There is Mammoth tanks in the field. He's taking out this MCV slowly but surely. Senna may have foregone his eco for that. It was somewhat of an all-in. He does have a lot of freaking Mammoth tanks though. If he wants to have EMP on this Redeemer again, he needs to use EMP grenades. So that's a potential transition for him. I would stop making these Mammoth tanks though, because, well, I mean, he's moving out with his Redeemer. He doesn't even have engineers in there, so I don't think he can really do much here. He needs to get a war factory down for sure. Senna, or rather Drive, does have eco, so he can keep this up, whereas the longer that Senna wastes, the worse it's going to be for him. Drive's not going to sell these obelisks off, because obviously that's his last line of defense. He's going to use the cloak on this, but if Senna is not listening to the music, he should hear this Redeemer coming. What do we have over here? Some bikes. This will distract him though while the Redeemer goes in for the crush. Senna's probably a bit preoccupied on dealing with that. The Redeemer, oh, I think that he's microing a bit here as well. He's going to move in. Oh my god, if he kills all these harvesters here with the crush, that's going to be pretty sick. Oh my god, we're going to witness some sick harvester crushing. No, he's not, because, oh, actually, I guess he didn't really want to risk it. And that is pretty sick. Oh my god, he kills all of the harvesters. The Mammoth tank is just going to be reversed though in the nick of time. He needs to get a radar scan. If he uses the radar scan here, all three of those obelisks are going to just completely annihilate that. And the Mammoth tank in the back doing some harvester hunting. I mean, it's not really hard. I mean, you could take out the refinery. That'll be pretty damaging. Double engineer in this Redeemer now. Marv going to come out imminently. And those harvesters, man, oh my god, that really crippled Senna's economy. There's 4 Marv tanks in the bottom here. If he gets a snipe on this tech lab, that's going to really be brutal. He's going for Vertigos now. He's not going to have time to get more of them out, though. Here comes the Marv. And the Marv tanks as well. They just did get, oh my god, that magnetic mine drop though, killing all those Marv tanks. He's going to even drive through it with a Marv as well. Takes out 2 Marv tanks. That's really, what more can you ask for from a mine drop? Marv tanks coming in though. In the rear, he's got 4 or 5 Marv tanks. He's going to probably be forced to pull back his Redeemer. The Marv is really heavily damaged, and that was just from mines alone. He's going to take out these back of Senna's base. He needs to go for the tech lab, man. Just go in and kill those units. Oh my god, the Enlightened Awakened. If they come in here and empty these Marv tanks, it's going to be GG, because Redeemer is coming in to play. He's going to try and empty or destroy this Marv, but I don't think that was a good idea, killing that there. He's going to get some repairs near this war factory. Could get a rig out as well. He's going to take out that I don't think Senna's really microing. What's he doing? He's going to get some repairs here. It's a bit frantic though. What do you call it? It does live. A refinery unpowered at the expansion. 2 Marv tanks remain. Can he get this avatar? I mean, not that it's going to matter, because it is in proximity to Drive's expansion, or to his MCV, so you can place down a Hand of Nod and deal with that. Marv tanks over here. And does Senna have any eco? Don't think he does. Drive really has eco. He has eco here. The Marv tanks I felt were wasted a bit. Does Senna have really much besides this here? I mean, he does have a few units here and there. There is a Marv tanks in the way. The Spectres are well out of position. Oh, he does have 3 here. Oh, that power down though, that's pretty sick. That's going to allow all these forces to come into play. 3 Vertigo bombers. Going to try and aim down this Marv. Is it worth it going for the Marv though? I mean, I guess it is. He's going to empt that though. 3 Spectres on the field. Somehow Drive managed to crank those out amidst all of that Mammoth tank harass. And yeah, Senna, I feel that he could have been taking that blue Tiberium this whole while. Again, he doesn't have Juggernauts, so he's doing quite well, all things considered. Of course, if he had artillery this game, it would have been a completely different story. He would have been able to easily penetrate this defensive wall of obelisks. And he's going to come through here with a victory Drive, and that is pretty much over. Senna does lose this game, so it is 1-1 apiece. Oh, sorry, it is actually 2-0 for Drive. So Senna not doing it so well, and yeah, he's gonna be. He was the one with more eco there. I just feel he's a bit wasteful with his Mammoth tanks. He had the opportunity there to win, I felt, but yeah, didn't even use the Alright guys, back to do some more games. Obviously I'm casting because it makes a change from playing because I have been doing a lot of first person videos. I did get some comments saying to me maybe my concentration is spread a bit too thin by doing casting and playing at the same time, and I can agree with you guys. I can't really express myself and strategies I want to do easily in game. And I wonder if there's any way to mute players in game so I don't get annoyed here. Is there a way to do this? So if I do help, is there a way to do this? Ignore pig owns. Let's see if it works or not. Not because I intentionally want to ignore him, but just because I don't want it to be a nuisance when I'm concentrating on this. So yeah, he doesn't know that I'm casting this. And over here in the bottom we can see playing as Nod is going to be center and SOCOM today. Random stuck on SOCOM. Sometimes it happens to me. I just get the same factions over and over. Haven't seen any Scrin factions from either one of these guys. Senna does do pretty well with Scrins. You can say the same for both of these players. Very, very dominant faction. And I'd say that these two players are rather evenly matched. It's just the matchups that they've been having have been very unfortunate. The first game, Senna, he probably should have won that, but he didn't recover when his eco got raided. So that's something that... well, who's that again? Okay, so he just did reveal to Senna that he has an engineer APC. He's got a buggy there on the field already, Senna, so he should be able to defend that. He is Nod, so he, I mean, if he uses, he doesn't have stealth detection on his Raider buggy, so if Drive mine drops the ground and Senna goes into it, he won't be able to detect those mines. He's going to clean up this rifle squad though, which is good because denying foxholes is always a good thing. It does allow you to keep your opponent guessing and maybe force him to go for a pit ball or such to confirm that there's no double war factory coming. The engineer will get sniped though, so that definitely didn't work out. I'm not sure if what he had in mind there with the APC engineer, but I think Drive's going to put himself behind with that tactic. Senna, he's ahead. He's going to get a third refinery up way before Drive. In fact, yeah, it's going to be... Is that a third refinery? No, of course not. I did have the impression that it would have been because Senna just gets his third ref up sooner than anybody else in this game. Drive taking all this blue Tiberium, so despite that APC engineer failing, he's going to get away with a full load of blue Tiberium. And... Bikes, it's a bit suicidal going into that. Pitbulls are just way better versus bikes. You need to really overwhelm them with bikes unless you use the decoy army on them to, you know, double the targets that the bikes are. That's something that Nod can do. What I used to do in the past, I used to go for 2 war factories plus a tier 2 for that support power because it then made my bikes slightly better versus the pitbulls. And another thing you should do with bikes and pitbulls is put them on a line formation. And if you didn't know how to do that, you press and hold your left and right mouse button simultaneously, and then you can drag a line and your units will not take splash damage because they're all going to be spread out nicely. And that is what you don't see very often. And let me just take a quick drink, because I did get a comment saying, look Leaf, take a drink now and then. And I understand I do need to take a drink, especially when I'm doing all this casting. And I am recovering from this cold still, so bear with me. And yep, we got 5 and 2 for Senna. He's going to get his expansion up, and likewise for Drive, he's sitting on comfortably on 5 and 2. He's probably got another one at the blue Tiberium though. He did get that full load of blue Tiberium, but he's suffering in his economy still. He has way less than Senna. Senna's just going to eco up. He's on double war factory though, which I should have mentioned previously. Senna isn't known for aggression, and this is certainly a change of pace from him. He's going to go in and snipe himself a harvester. Nice mine drop though for Drive. Got 2 bikes for his trouble. A really underused ability on the APC. The mine drop does cost $300 a pop. It's not nearly as good as the Nod mines though, I've noticed. If you've seen, Nod mines can actually one-shot kill epic units, which is just crazy. Epic units have armor. They take certain amounts of damage from cannon, sniper, grenade, and rocket, and the mine damage completely ignores every armor they have. So it just affects the total of the hit points they have. So that's how mines are so effective versus epic units. And yeah, he's going to take out more harvesters. Going to town here. Senna, he's just going to trash this economy. He's completely running away with this game. Drive forced to pull back his entire Pitbull army. What's he doing over here though, Senna? He's I mean, he's got more buggy coming, quite a lot of them at that. And whose is that? Was that Senna? Could have been, oh, it must have been Drive. That does appear in live games if you didn't know. Because I am not casting replays, this is actually me casting these guys play live. And I might do this more often, depending on how you guys respond to this. And I also wanted to cast this game so that I could potentially get some ideas myself, because I've been brainstorming ideas for when I play games, so that I go into a first person video with a general idea of what I'm going to do in that video, because I want to demonstrate some things. But it is increasingly difficult to when everyone picks random, so if I have something in mind versus GGI, I may not have the opportunity to, you know, even do it, because my opponent may never get that faction. And it's difficult asking people to play factions nowadays. And also, when it comes to scouting, I've mentioned this time and time again in my... And Senna, for some reason, keeps using this radar missile, which is really annoying because it does lag the game. I guess he just enjoys using that. I'm not sure if it does anything. I personally have not seen the Nod radar jamming missile be effective, mostly because everyone in the game is used to playing without an MCV because of all ends and such, so it doesn't really serve much of a purpose. And you're just telegraphing to your opponent, look, I'm going to be attacking from two sides. I've got a flame tank in the corner, something like that. Senna, he's going to completely overwhelm this position here. Is there going to be a one-click coming? Yes, there is. Don't think he may need to use it, though. The bikes are off the Tiberium. He could probably lure them into the Tiberium. Tib core is done, so it's just going to be a wall crawl over these APCs and Pitbulls. He placed down a refinery, Senna, but that's going to get immediately destroyed. Harvesters do sustain that damage nowadays. Can he defend this off? It's all going to come down to the focus firing. If Drive can defend this off. He's still spamming out those Pitbulls. Senna hasn't got an MCV, an expansion up just yet. Bike's gonna kill these harvesters. All three of these are gonna go down, and that's gonna be just what Senna needs. I mean, if he had not got those harvesters, then maybe Drive could have done something, but yeah, that's just gonna be his entire expansion denied. He didn't get that one though. The game isn't over. Senna, I'd imagine, has more bikes on the way. Yes, he has. He's still continuing to spam those out. So not planning to go for the eco game. He's decided to switch up the tactics, which is pretty good. Rarely seen from Senna. And he's going to get himself onto the scoreboard here, though I'm not really going to count the games in casual games. It's just casual games and nothing more. And yeah, bikes, man, with that tib core, they just do amazing splash damage. And those harvesters will get taken out. And Senna going to get himself up an expansion as well. Also rallying his harvesters in that field. So yeah, he's doing pretty good here. It seems like both players are playing pretty well. I felt that Drive in this game got behind when he lost the APC engineer. It kind of snowballed for Senna. But he does have double ref on his expansion, so if he does rebuild some more harvesters, then maybe he has a shot here. It's going to be a tough ask. Senna is probably going to go into eco mode. He did sell his war factories, so he doesn't have any more production, so maybe I'm calling this a bit too soon. I feel that was a bit unnecessary, because all these bikes here is what he has. He's just going to drive into those mines now, and that's going to be not so good for him. No eco on this field. Drive is going to try and recover here. He's not going to give in just yet. He's up against all these bikes though. How many Pitbulls does he have? I can't really see them on the radar for the life of me. He's got these here. Only one war factory. Senna going to go for the infantry spam. So this can be pretty brutal if Drive doesn't see this coming, which, I mean, at the current time he doesn't. Does he have AP ammo? No, he doesn't. Once again, another radar jamming missile, which is in this case maybe good, because he's going to conceal the fact that he's making that transition. That's just his infantry taking tib exposure. He's going for the upgrades now. the Confessor and the Tybrim Infusion. This increases the hit points, and the other one adds a Confessor to every squad member. And this one actually throws hallucinogenic grenades periodically, which makes them really, really good versus infantry spam. Even Black Hand infantry can be countered this way with Nod infantry. So Nod have a pretty good anti-infantry when you use the infantry. It only appears bad with Nod when you don't use the infantry that they have, because the hallucinogenic grenades that those throw are just what you need in that spot. He's going to go in here with the Pitbull. He's going to detect the Harvester. The infantry, though, is going to be far too much to handle. There's just not really any scouts going on here. He's placing down those watchtowers, but I just don't feel that he can really stop this. He doesn't even have AP ammo. Refinery going to get saved. The massive infantry swarm will be detected, and I think that Drive may just decide to throw it in here. He does have all these Pitbulls. He can probably go to the top. Senna has already sniffed this out, though. You could go for laser turrets as well. Laser turrets massively buffed since the last patch. That's why you see me, Bycrush, and everybody else use them. And previously we didn't, because they received a huge buff. It's really in the rate of fire that they've been improved in. And all these infantry, man, that is a lot of infantry. They are stacking up though, so perhaps a Shatter Tank shot here would just one shot kill his entire army. The guy just reads my mind. He knows that Sen is probably going to lose all those infantry. I mean, providing he micros his infantry, he should be okay. The MCV will live. I think that does have a fence on it. There is tier 3 still, unless he sold it. He still has his tier 3. I'm not sure if he placed that there, but I think he rebuilt his tier 3. So he may be looking to go for a Redeemer now. And he's got these pits here. No mortars. He's a long way off from that upgrade, but I'm surprised he was able to hold back that expansion. These aren't Black Hand infantry, so the Nod infantry not going to be as good. He could have used the Redemption as well. Something that surprised me there. He could have just used that Redemption and spam the Nod Awaken M on the Shatter Tanks and Watchtowers. He would have just easily held that there. And also Decoy Army on infantry is immensely good too. He's going to take out this top field here. So yeah, Drive's limited to this corner. He's doing a good effort at remaining in this game, but Senna's just still alive. He's still got his production. He's going for Redeemer. There's nothing really to stop that. He's going to go back to his natural, which is good, but he needs to ensure that his MSV doesn't die to that. APC is being built now. He's up against his infantry. Surprised Senna didn't garrison some of these structures. He could do that. That makes an infantry so powerful on maps like this and Small Town USA, that all these garrisonable structures and these zone shatterers, they cost more money. This is what I don't understand. SOCOM, they have the same shatter tank, the same HP, the same damage, but they get this ability called Overlord Beam, which powers down the refinery, but you have to pay $200 for the privilege of doing so. It's just not worth it, and I'm not sure what he's referring to. There's the Wilhelm screen right there, in just about everything that happens. And the Pitbulls, he's going to come up here, he's going to find no resistance at all. The Redeemer is on the field, I think, unless he sold it. He must have sold his Redeemer facility. Guys, Senna just sold his Redeemer facility. What is Senna doing? Is he going to throw this game? It's looking likely. The Harvesters are here, raiding the he should pull them towards his infantry. Oh my god, Senna, what are you doing? Is Drive going to make a sick comeback here? He's MCV, where is it? It's over here. I'm not sure if there's another refinery he's got queued or what. But these sort of comebacks I've seen Drive make over and over again. Senna, he's making all this infantry now, but yeah, Drive has the AP ammo. He really can't push out just yet. I mean, he does have a fair few amount of anti-infantry now. He does have the tier 3 still. I'm not sure if he lost his Redeemer facility or just sold it. It just doesn't make sense to me. There was nothing there was threatening it, unless there was an engineer. I'll have to ask the players afterwards what happened there. Maybe it could have been an engineer. That would have been just mind-boggling if that was the case. Infantry not spread out. Shower tank shots is going to immediately wipe those out. So effective when you use that, and those are just, the majority of them are decoys. Senna still has this game. That harvester raid was very, very good. I think the pitbulls all got destroyed though. Drive is floating money, probably going for a tier 3 because he needs the Marv, but I think he's a long way off from the Marv. He probably needs to go for hammerheads here. Tib core is online for Senna. None of these buildings can be garrisoned. They're all heavily damaged. And these shatter tanks, man, they're just going to clean up here. The Redeemer is on the way. He's spread too thin though, Senna. He's not pushing in from one side. I felt that if he went in all at one side, he could have held this back. Refinery will get fenced. He's just throwing away too many infantry. The Redeemer is on the field now. And those will get destroyed, those shatter tanks. Senna going to get some more harvesters out. He needs to keep his MCV alive. Going to go for bikes now, no doubt. Or Scorpion tanks, unusual choice. Scorpion tanks, maybe Scorp Venom would be the option versus all of this. I have to argue that it would be good. Senna, though, he is drying out his Tiberium. He needs to rebuild some of his harvesters, I feel. And this Redeemer is going to be incredibly hard to stop, especially considering how there's only hammerheads in the field here. Drive's trying to do all that he can. Senna has his base stealth though by these disruption towers, so he's going to need stealth detection. Looks like that is garrisoned up by triple rocket. That's going to be pretty lethal for these hammerheads. And these shatter tanks especially are going to be not enjoying this. If Senna's paying attention, he can probably just kill that one there. It's veteran. And yeah, Senna moving out of his MCV. He needs to be careful. Maybe he's looking to move in and use the base defenses to deal with the aircraft. If I were him though, I'd probably go for a few Venoms just to clean up these hammerheads. There is no ceramic armor upgraded, so I guess maybe this is just to make Senna overreact and build a lot of Venoms more than he needs to. But yeah, Drive is still very much on the back foot. Where is that Redeemer? I'm not sure. The Redeemer is on the way. Hammerheads here. The Redeemer is coming in. That MCV is almost certainly going to be destroyed. The tier 3 is here. If he has a tier 4, he can momentarily delay this Redeemer, but yeah, it's going to be too much. I feel that he's just going to kill this MCV and with it the game. There is a Marv down here. Shockingly, he put his Marv facility up here when it should have been up here, where he needed it. Scorpion tanks being made, and why did he build this reclamator hub here? He needed it up there where the Redeemer is. He could have probably held this off if he just put that there. And he's going to lose his tech center. I feel it's a waste of time just fencing that. He could have just sold it, got the $2,000. But yeah, mass Venom spam for Senna. He's going to take that out with those Venoms. Aircraft no longer an option, obviously. And Senna struggled to win this game. Drive definitely made him work for the victory. And I was rooting for Drive throughout this game, but unfortunately, especially with the heroic Venoms now, I just don't feel that it's going to be possible. He's going to dispatch these last few buildings here. That's going to deny the build radius, but not that he really counts for much because there is no MCV on the field anymore for Drive. He's going to get out some more units, but yeah, I feel that he could probably just give in now. I don't feel that he has any shot at winning. He's got 5 harvesters, so he still has eco, but no Tiberium. And he's trying to build APCs. He has no MCV, so he can't just throw down AA turrets. That heroic Venom man especially is going to be pretty lethal versus those APCs, which are really lightly armored. And he's just going to come in here for the kill. Senna, if he could get some Imp buggies out. He does have his tech center still. No, he doesn't. He sold that. Harvester strangely there. And the Scorpion tanks don't have any dozer blades on them, so if he was planning to go for that, it wouldn't really do much because he didn't have that upgrade. Senna does have more to his name. He has 3 fields here. But if he just wastes this Redeemer, which he's doing now, then obviously that's going to be... I mean, you could go all in and kill the Reclamator hub. That may be what he should do. Just go in and kill that, and then he won't have to bother about killing the Marv because he would limit Drive's production to 0. And I'll probably just sell this refinery too as well, so the Marv can, take some shots at this. He's just going to go in for that refinery. The Venoms looks like they're pretty idle. They're over here. But yeah, that's going to be it. He's going to take out this MCV, and those are the last few buildings that Drive has, and he's just going to give in here. Again, making it hard for Senna. And those mines, again, like I said, the GDI ones just don't seem to do very much. Granted, that was a lot of freaking damage. But yeah, there's only 2 buildings remaining. The Scorpion tank's just going to flank from the rear. The Redeemer doesn't really seem to matter if he's gonna fight to the last rifle squad, the last buzzer, and that's gonna be it. So yeah, drive. I felt that he had a few opportunities there to win. I feel that his reclamate hub placement in the bottom was a mistake. He should have just placed it in the top where he was getting hit the hardest. But yeah, it's easy to make a mistake here and there. He was behind throughout the most part. Senna wasn't really cost effective at all, but in the end, he made it work. Good harassment. He made those bikes pay off in the mid game, and yeah, that was a really interesting game. So yeah, the next game. All right, so finally we have a change of faction here. Random has been... We've been blessed by Random, and we no longer have SOCOM anymore as a faction to watch. Though I guess I'll get a few angry comments saying I want to watch nothing but SOCOM because SOCOM's the most underplayed faction in the game. And yes, they are, along with Mock, but they don't have a good shot at winning. And when the players are of equal skill level, it is hard to say that SOCOM is going to win. Though we did see Drive take a win in that first game with SOCOM, and in that third game though it just proved too difficult to deal with Nod. But yeah, he's going to be over here, Drive, as the Nod faction. He's going to be vanilla Nod, and for some reason got a little bit of lag. I think that's Senna though. When I seem to play Senna, I seem to get a few FPS lag as well, and especially when he uses that radar jamming missile, he does seem to lag a fair bit. So yeah, he's going to go for 2 engineers. Of course, you should wait before you have your firing up before you capture your engine spike, because you won't get that 500 for the process. And I did get a new driver update from NVIDIA, and there was a new feature, the same as AMD's like sharpening filter, and I've enabled it for this video and this game, and it seems to have made the game look a lot better. I'm not sure if I did disable it or not, but yeah, it's something that I would definitely enable if you're using a resolution higher than 1080p. Just makes the game look better. So yeah, do we have any bikes? We got bikes coming out of Drive here, but Senna, he's Steel Talons. He has the heavy harvesters, which do have more health. They don't have any weapons on them to fend themselves off. I'm not sure what he's doing. Was that harvester even docking? He could have got that. Oh, did he just take splash damage there? Yeah, he's focusing down the... Oh, good job there for Senna. He's going to focus that down. And that heavy harvester with that 10% health difference will allow it to escape. Though he hasn't been harvesting this whole while. So, yeah, maybe that did pay off for Drive. He's on 2-2. Again, Senna, he held that off. He didn't lose any harvesters. And that heavy harvester with the extra armor plating on it will allow its survival here. And of course they do have the garrisons inside of them, which really no one uses. Steel Talons have limited infantry options, so it's what you put in those is very limited. It's usually rifle squads or missile squads left over from defending a push. Rarely do you see them used beyond that, unless you want to do an all-in and you put rifles in your harvesters for anti-infantry, because they are much more tankier than Wolverines are. So yeah, if you want to go all in with your harvesters, they're actually pretty decent for for anti-infantry, especially when it comes to like the late game when you got like 10 or 11 Steel Talons harvesters. If you put all of them, if you put a rifle squads in all of them, that's going to be very powerful in dealing with infantry, and also as acting as meat shields as well. Though that is really all in if you use all your harvesters. But yeah, interesting map choice is going to be Tournament Undergrounds here. One thing I didn't notice, Senna has 2 spikes. Did Drive take the top one? Yes, he did. So yeah, both sides are 2 spikes apiece. It's going to be Nod versus Steel Talons. Interesting matchup. I feel that on this map both have equal chances of winning. It's all going to come down to how Senna defends versus the subsequent Nod aggression. If he can sustain and hold versus all these bikes and Nod's stealth tanks and such, then he can just win outright with Mav tank spam on this map, especially because Mav tanks are super heavily armored. I'm not sure if I'm losing frames or not. I did clear my hard drive. For some reason, that last video I uploaded the first time, it just corrupted and half the video was not viewable. So I need to make sure that doesn't happen again. It did delay the upload, so yeah, I probably will split this in 2 parts if these guys are going to be playing for a while. But I feel that it's something different that I should be doing, like casting people playing games. I noticed the Russians had been doing the same, but this series especially I am interested in because I feel that these 2 guys are equally matched, and you can see based on what we're seeing here that these guys are definitely quite sussed when it comes to game knowledge. Senna is ecoing quite far ahead, as you can see. He just ballooned out in economy, of course, because he did kill those 3 bikes early on in the game, and he's just going to come in here, kill more of Drive's harvesters. They're going to go down. Actually, I got confused there. Drive did kill himself a harvester, but at what cost? He just lost all of his... Well, actually, no. Senna's really making an ass of this. He's losing all of his pit bulls. A lot of those are on heavy damage mode. Senna not really microing properly. Drive, did he take blue tie broom? No, no one's taken that thus far. And this hangar here of aircraft, you have to admit, Predator put a lot of attention to detail in his maps. MCV though, gonna get sniped. Oh my god, could this be what Drive needs to get back into this game? So you could take out the enemy MCV. That was a pretty good catch. He's gonna have to rebuild that now. He does have double war factories, so yeah, not the end of the world for Senna though. It will delay him a bit, and that's just what Drive needs so he can get his economy up. He needs to get Senna to just chill for a moment, and that's exactly what was needed. I'm not sure why he was sending his MCV towards this area anyways, because he couldn't deploy it on that there. And yeah, he's on 3 over here. He's going to get his MCV back out. He needs to go for a 3rd, I feel. He's not actually building it unless he's building it from this one. He's just on 2 war factories. I don't feel that... I mean, Drive... He's now on 3 war factories. He knows that he just killed his enemy's MCV, so now's his chance to get ahead. And was that a heroic bike that he just got there? Yeah, he's got a heroic bike, so yeah, Drive, he's pulling this game back. Senna, with that MCV loss, is definitely going to be hurting him. He needs to go for that MCV once again. Drive's just going to get ahead economically. He's now got 4 on that field. The bikes, let's bring up the help eyes here just to see that heroic bike in action. Senna's coming in for a push, but yeah, these bikes can just swing around and, you know, take a favorable engagement. For example, these units here aren't defended by these units, and that's a problem with GDI. They're just slow and clumsy, and you need to be... It's very hard for you to engage Nod head on with your full army, because the opponent's army, being Nod, can just take on a part of it because they have the speed advantage, and that's what makes the balance so, well, good, because it's not about how good the bike is versus the pitbull. It's about how many bikes are going to be confronting how many pitbulls or predator tanks, and that's what makes the balance work in the end. And yeah, Senna's just getting torn to shreds here. I think this is irrecoverable if he loses this army here. And that MCV loss though, I feel that was a bit too much for Senna to cope with, and I think that's going to be GG. He's going to come in here, going to take a swipe at this Titan. Titans, man, they just suck unless you've got railguns. But then even if you have railguns, it takes 2 shots to kill a bike. Granted, it does put the bike on low health, so it moves slower, but it still dies in 2 shots to Titans. So maybe Titans plus something that can finish it off would be better. Titans plus Wolverines with AP ammo. Yeah, don't even think about bikes then. In fact, even unupgraded, that combo would be really suitable for dealing with that. All right, this matchup. Look, hear me out on this. Scrin versus Scrin, that's a boring matchup. It's just Mecha v Mecha. But Trav 59 versus Trav 59, it's a lot more interesting because there is descents in the early game. Both sides have to micro descent versus descent, and it is quite interesting when it comes to both sides descent rushing one another, because usually both sides end up in even footing, and then after that you can go for anything. Like anything works in Trav 59 mirrors. You can go for shock trooper spam, even Ravager spam works because nothing can chase them. You can do anything you want, and cultists obviously, but then cultists do get chased down by descents because they're slower than descents. And It seems like both of these guys are actually, no, Senna deciding to not go for that Descent rush, so this could be an early death for him. Descent's on the way though for drive, so he's probably looking to kill Senna's spikes. Did he go for 2 groups in the end? Yes, he did. That's a common strategy on this map. Double Descent group. Senna is not going to scout this though. He's trying 59. I'm surprised he didn't go for a Descent rush himself. And I probably will make this the last game of this VOD, just because I'm starting to lose my voice now. So I guess after a while I need to take a break. Yeah, this is going to be pretty bad for Senna, because he's going to lose both of his spikes. And especially in a random mirror where you don't even know that your opponent's Travel 59 or Scrin. I mean, you can check your opponent's Fog of War to see that he's selling a Shredder turret or a Watchtower or a Buzzer Hive. And usually that requires you to put your graphics on ultra high, so you can get to see that better in the Fog of War. Some would argue that that's cheating, but who's to say? I mean, I think ideally they should show random in the player status screen. When you're in the player loading screen, when the game loads, then you wouldn't have to be guessing about what your opponent's faction is. I don't feel that random should be a secret after the game starts. So it should be just, you don't know what to pick, so just pick random, and that's what it should be. At least they should know. Players should know what to scout for. But yeah, he's going to lose both of his spikes, which is going to be really bad for Senna. He's going to play it like it's a Scrin mirror, which is not. He's try 59 here. He's making a tier 2, obviously, for a Corruptor, because there's a lot of Disintegrators. The longer this goes on, though, the worse it's going to be for Senna, because he's not going to have that eco that he would have if he was Traveler. What's he doing now? Is he going to go for Disintegrators? Potentially. I mean, Corruptor plus Cultist is a combination that we've seen used in the past. He's going to take out this Mutant Hoven, which back in the day would have been a good idea, because the Synths would have gained experience for doing so. Before, you could kill even these bunkers and units would gain experience for doing so. Nowadays, not the case, because we felt it was just crazy having heroic flame tanks in the first minute, just killing neutral structures on the map. It's quite toxic, and didn't really make for a healthy metagame. Though obviously what came after wasn't exactly healthy either, because we had the Reckoner, which was super overpowered. We had Disintegrator spam, both of which has since been nerfed in 1.02 plus. Disintegrators here. He's just retreating. He's making Senna overspend. And what's he going to do now? Is he going to go for Cultists? I mean, potentially he's placing a portal down before a tier 3, so maybe he has Cultists in mind. Some sort of advanced infantry unit is in mind for Senna. He's going to go for Cultists himself, probably to deal with the Corruptors, which does make sense. You may expect Mechapedes on the way, but no, Senna has really good mind games in play. And Senna is actually doing rather well here. He's managed to get himself back in this game. He's going to get his eco back up. Unfortunately, though, his Harvester is going to be rallying to his first field. So, yeah, not spotting that, unfortunately. And now he's going to take out these spikes, because he knows now that... Oh, he's going to... Is that Senna's buzzer? Yeah, it is. Okay, he's going to lose that. Descent's on their way here to try and save this spike. It's going to be quite futile, though. He's going to lose that. Cultists on the way here. Going to try and steal these Corruptors. I'm not even sure if he's paying attention. He could plant... no, what's he doing? He's not paying attention here. Senna has a Corruptor. I guess he can just use that to scout. He's got eco up though. Can't say the same for drive. Senna has to be careful, because his Harvesters can get grabbed, though you can take your opponent's captured units back. So in Travel Mirrors, if your opponent captures something of Cultist, you can just capture it back with your own Cultist. And that is very makes for interesting games. That was how the final of the Command Cup tournament game ended up. And also, sorry, Kane's Draft World Championship. I played Unleashed, and in that final game, it was just nothing but Cultists versus Cultists. And I don't think anyone's seen it to that level since. So, yeah, Cultists here. We're going to see just what I mentioned. He's going to come in here. He came in from the wrong side. If he wants to take any blue tip Harvesters, he should have came down here with a Cultist. Could have grabbed himself a Harvester. It's difficult to tell the difference between yellow and orange. It seems very the same. Oh, that's unfortunate for Drive, getting himself sniped there. As well as here, he's going to lose his cultists, unfortunately for him. If he's paying attention, he can probably save that. Wow, those descents really doing damage. Corruptor does get captured. You can't just send that back to your opponent, though, because he's just going to take it back with his own cultists. And we have a tier 3 online now for Senna. But do you really want to go for a tier 3 in a trap mirror? Unless it's for a hexapod or a prodigy, I don't really see the point of spamming mechapedes or tripods, because they're just going to get captured by the cultists. So I'm guessing he's going to go for a hexapod here. It would make sense to. War Factory going to get killed. There is cultists over here. Those belong to Drive. Not sure what he's doing, though. There is... Whose corruptors belongs to who here? He's got 3 here. He's tried to take out the War Factory. Tried to deny Senna. And he's going to take out this stasis chamber. So, yeah, I guess he can't go for any more cultists. He's used the mind control ability on all of his cultists. Senna going for that hexapod now, which is a smart play. Probably could just put descents in this, because descents are very good versus infantry. They do allow the hexapod to shoot and move as well. It's one of the only garrisons which does allow that, as well as Ravagers, but Ravagers cost like 4 times more. Which is literally 4 times more, $1,300. And they're not 4 times better. In fact, I'd say that descents are better at anti-infantry purposes. And yeah, you just use a swarm there to kill a few buzzes. The thing is, he just uses swarms, so if there is a prodigy coming, he's not going to have a quick and easy answer of killing that. Here comes some seekers to scout in advance, potentially for a prodigy to come in and snipe the drone ship. So yeah, that's a mistake in my opinion. Mechapedes are out on the field. Mechapedes, not really the answer, I'd say. Oh, this is interesting. He's going to go for the dev warships with the, I'm assuming, the traveler engines as well. So yeah, this is going to limit the reaction time that, what do you call it, has. He needs to micro those so he doesn't lose these. Those 2 captured gunwalkers are going to be quite a nuisance. He can destroy these extractors here with his drone warships. He's not doing that though. What's going on though? He's got gunwalkers in here. Trying to scout. Is that a prodigy on this side? No, it's not. He's got this drone ship here. The mechapedes coming in to kill this. He's could have got this refinery. That's unfortunate. Seeker tank's going to be sent to their doom. And the hexapod isn't even garrisoned up with anything. If it were, then Drive would have really nothing to deal with that. Oh my god, the problem with these dev warships as well is if you've got a buzzer or anything in your base, you need to make sure that they don't, you know, splash down or kill your own base. The refinery's going to get destroyed. Oh my god. You could have just used that on the dev warship and got the hex as well. Though I guess it doesn't really matter. He's just going to kill that. And where the hell did he get all these shock troopers from as well? He's going to use the swarm. Oh, he just used the teleport as well. That was a lot of he used to face this hexapod, man. Yeah, there you go. Faces it. He did just give away the fact that he's going for mass shock trooper. I don't feel that was worth it. Mass mechapede is en route now. Drone ship does get captured. Though we did see a gravity stabilizer earlier. And wow, that prodigy could have just limited Senna's production. He does have a war factory. We're going to continue to spam at those mechapedes. Can Drive come back here with shock troopers and just infantry? Again, that was what I said earlier. It's just better to spam infantry than go for... Oh, wow. Can he aim down this head here with those mechapedes? Mind you, it does last only 6 seconds, this mind control on infantry, and he did do a good job there. Wow, saving his prodigy versus 3 mechapedes, that's pretty insane. And here comes the... Oh, he just used that. Oh my god. He's losing all of his corruptors though. Wow, that's just going to give Senna a load of income. Senna can go for a prodigy and take his opponent's MCV over. That's something that he should do, like return the favor, take that MCV. He's got all these shock troopers though, no tech. He's got all these cultists. He needs to get some healing up on this though. Maybe get some toxin segment mechapedes if he wants to heal that up, because it is going to be pretty good for him to do that. He's got these shock troopers here just to ensure that he doesn't lose his own drone ship to that prodigy, because he does know of the portal still existing. And Senna not paying attention here. Here comes the prodigy once again, going to deny that expansion. And there goes the prodigy down, unfortunately for Senna. That's going to deny the expansion, though at least it wasn't his war factory. Here comes the MCV. He can just destroy this here, though. And then that's Senna's production gone. And I think Senna's just going to give in now, because he doesn't have anything to deal with this. He can take out that tier 3, deny the prodigy from being built, and now he just has a portal to deal with. Senna can only go for buzzers now, which, I mean, probably is going to be a good option. The Hex Pod really needs to go in now for an all-in. He can destroy the bridges if he wants to. Oh my god, he needs to be careful though about this cultist spam. The prodigy is out in the field, which means the tier 3 is again on the field. He doesn't have any Hex Pod of his own though. He really doesn't have much to contend with this Hex, especially if he puts infantry inside of it. He does have a shock trooper here. He does have a portal still. He can just destroy this bridge as well. And the Hex Pod will just die on the bridge. So yeah, that's going to really delay the Hex Pod now. Oh my god, what was going on there? And he's going to come over here. He's going to just return the favor. And going to just kill this bridge as well. It is over though, the longer this goes, because Senna has no production besides this portal. He does, especially now, because he's going to be destroyed by 2 corruptors. He needs to keep this alive here. Senna, oh, he does take those. Okay. Okay. Alright, okay. No way. It's not dead yet. It's not dead. And it's dead. That is how you kill a Pexapod, folks. That is how you do it. Drive with the moves. Putting on a show for us all. That was pretty sick. Using the where is the Emp Center on this map? I've no idea. Where is it? Is it on the right side? There is a defensive tower there. I can't spot it anywhere. I'm guessing it was in the middle, but then he destroyed it. There's definitely an Emp spike. There's also an expansion point as well on here. And yes, Senna's just getting cleared up here. Drive is just completely and utterly out-microing Senna, it looks like. And that was a good move there, emping that on the bridge. That was a smart move. I wouldn't have thought of that on the fly. But yeah, Senna's got no forces to really replace what he lost. And he's just going to give in, and that's going to be GG. So yeah, I think I will conclude this VOD on that note. Senna, he tried to get back into it, but then he lost his War Factory and his MCB to the Prodigy. That one move with the Prodigy and Drive just completely switched the game around. For some reason, Senna just likes to sell his production structures and then rebuild them later, and that cost him. If he had kept his airfield around, he would have been okay. Also, he had this Devastator warship as well, which didn't do anything. He could have killed his opponent's refinery and just, you know, microed better, had a bit more subtle plays here and there. And that's going to be it. So yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed this series. I will bring some casts like this to you of these random games. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Anyways, this is going to be my sleeve. Peace out.